Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my video, July 2020 Pisces Must Knows. This month we've got a lot of the stars speaking your language as there's a continued movement through water signs. And we've got the energy of like a dog shaking off after a bath. You know, there's been heavy emotion for June and July with the water planets, with the 3 eclipses, the 3rd being this month. And this is a time where throughout the month, your impetus to take action builds, your clarity builds, and the shaking off of the excess water occurs, leaving you more free for new beginnings. So even though we are still in this sort of energy of retrograde, the Venus and Mercury retrogrades trail off between the 26th and the 29th of July. At that point, Mars pre-transit retrograde will start to pick up, but we still have this magical, like I'd say around, my favorite window for action, basically, is around July 20th through July 28th, because at this point, the energies of the retrogrades are fading. There are some sweet aspects, and we do have about the same amount of challenging aspects compared to sweet aspects this month. So, you know, when that happens, it's really your perspective that can change how you experience it, can kind of tip the scales to make it be more positive and, you know, more good and easier. So, but a lot of those sweet aspects are sandwiched in that time, not sandwiched in the, well, yeah, I mean, they are, because like the whole rest of the month before the 20th is like sweet and salty aspects. And then after, you know, like towards the end, as we get into August, is going to be the same thing. So there's this nice window where the retrograde energies are fading, and this Mars in Aries that's going to bring impulsivity, recklessness, like a bull in a china shop, is going to start up. Venus in Gemini is going to breathe life into the fiery potentials that are brought by Mars. So you can see that even though Aries energy and Gemini energies don't run in an as easy and natural a flow for Pisces, that doesn't mean it can't be good. So we'll liken this energy to like a pot of water, with that being the Pisces energy, being brought up to a boil with these fire and air energies that are sort of bringing it into action. So you'll notice that your call to action, your need to make a decision, your desire to do something, your desire to make something happen has a great chance of increasing as the month progresses, and that lands you in a perfect window to actually do something with it. So I love that for you. Okay, so definitely knowing that a month is going to be emotional will help you to bring out your umbrella. So here's your meteorological report, right? That there are still a lot of water energies. And even though they do speak your language, there is going to be a lot of emotion this month, for better and worse. So if you're just prepared to handle that, as Pisces generally is, because you move well in that space, then it'll be much easier for you. One of the reasons why, well, another reason why taking action towards the end of this month and beginning of August is really important is because as Mars goes into its retrograde, many people are going to lose their zest. They're going to become more lazy. They're going to have their ambitions, tempered. And that's perfect. It's in a perfect flow with that transit. But as we approach September, that's going to be, happening for many people. So you've got this window of like where you can do stuff. So you really want to take action. All right, so let's look at the charts and talk about some other things here. So the first thing, let's see here, is all this water energy. Just want to give you the visual. It's a 120-degree angle. 120-degree angles are basically 4 signs away. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm an astrology teacher. That's why I go through and give you these points so that you can learn more about astrology while I'm telling you the things you can expect. Now for early degree placements, let's just see where everybody's at on the map here. Early degree Pisces are basically February born. And if you're watching for your Pisces moon or rising, this is for you too. Okay, so for you, look for your degree between 0 and 9 degrees for early. And the middle degree Pisces are March 1st through 10th around, or 10 to 19 degrees if you're watching for your moon or rising, and late degree around March 11th through the rest of the sign, or 20 to 29 degrees. And you'll see here that this makes a difference with where these planets fall. That's why I take the time to do this. So for early degree placements, there's just right from the beginning of the month a predominance of energy in the 5th house. Okay, talk about that in a second. Then you see with the middle degree placements, all that energy that was in the 5th is in the 4th. Now it's moving, it's going to be moving throughout the month into the 5th, but it doesn't start the month off that way. And for the late degree placements, you also have all of this energy in the 4th house, and it's going to take longer to get to the 5th house, okay? So we'll talk about what those expressions will look like. And remember, we've got the keynote of emotion. We've got the keynotes of the energy of home and family that comes from the sign of Cancer. And for the middle and late degree placements, we also have the houses of the 4th house, which is the house of Cancer, okay? So all Pisces can expect a strong focus on home and family, on your inner world, on questions of housing and real estate. If you have to make a decision about buying or selling a house or do something there, this is a really great window for things like that too, okay? So putting your house up for sale, purchasing a new home, all of these things, moving, having new leases, like new leases starting August 1st, are really in a nice sync with the energies that are showing up here. There might be some involvement with your family, something going on with your family, and or just like doing stuff with your house. But homes and housing are going to be a strong focus for all Pisces placements, and that's going to be doubly true for the middle and late degree placements because the house involvement. Now where we're going, okay, the early degree placements already starting there in the beginning of the month, and remember middle and late, you're going to progress as the month goes on into this energy, is the 5th house, where this energy of emotion ties into creative projects, emotion tying into children, emotion tying into anything that has to do with romantic relationships. This 5th house is also the house of true love. So keys to your lasting happiness and your romantic problems being solved are sort of coming up in this space, okay? And there's been a long list of opportunities to really heal your relationships or to gain the benefits of work that you've done previously. Retrogrades can really bring a massive amount of harmony, and that happens generally when you've gotten through the things that were interfering with the harmony. So for those of you who've had things coming up in your money sector and your love sector over the previous months, this is giving you an opportunity to show you what has to be resolved. As you resolve it, then you have the chance, as the retrogrades come back again in this type of configuration, to reap the rewards of the efforts that you put forth now. If you can accept the things going on as reflections of the current state of your internal space, your subconscious mind is what's creating your reality. And what happens outside of us is like showing us a picture of what's inside, because it's hard to see what's in there. So, if you look at your life and you're like, oh my gosh, what a mess, then you have to go inside and resolve anything messy within you, societal programming, birth trauma, parental issues from growing up, things like that. And then for some people, past life issues, ancestral things like that. But in any case, related to this 5th house, it's very much about finding your voice, okay? So all Pisces, especially starting from the beginning with the early and then getting deeper as we get into the month, is very much about finding your voice. It's about finding the things that are fun for you. This time is about returning to things that used to be fun for you in the past, like hobbies or activities. Could even be, people that you were in a relationship from the past, or bringing harmony back from the past, things like that. And for some people, this is going to actually be brand new love. We do have to have cautions when moving forward in love in the midst of a retrograde season, as this whole year pretty much is. But because of this bubbling up towards the end of the month, things involving children, things involving romance, have a chance for some new energies to push through here, that it's not just all about everything from the past. So if you're trying to schedule online dating or dates or things like that, then, like July 20th into the middle of August, is more of an open window than we've had for a while, and then we will have for a while. So you might want to take advantage of that since this 5th house is accentuated for you. Okay, so let's see here. What we've got going on. We've got this really strong Capricorn focus. We've been talking about this over time because these are These are outer planets, and they've been doing this for a while. But this really has to do with finding your footing in life, okay? Because remember, Pisces energy rules the feet, okay? And Pisces energy, people with strong Pisces energy may often feel like the sand is coming out from below them, like the water's coming in and their feet are going in the sand and things are sinking and dispersing, and that you don't have a strong footing, okay? And if you are a Pisces with that situation, these outer planets are really seeking to help you firm up your footing in every area of your life. So this could be a time when you have that gel. I hope that that happens. And if not, again, like we talked about before, if you can be really honest with yourself about why something might be happening to you. So for instance, like in the microcosmic reality or the holographic reality where everything outside is inside and everything inside is outside, if somebody's lying to you and you have a pattern of having people lie to you and betray you, and this happens a lot in life, and this also happens a lot with Pisces placements because you're very sensitive, you're very caring, very emotionally connected to people, and sometimes those emotional connections can cloud your very strong intuition. So if you feel like you're having people lying to you constantly, this is spirit telling you that there are some things that you are lying to yourself about. And the more you can find those things and resolve those things, the less you will have these negative reflections. People are still going to lie, but how you experience, because just humans do that, right? If somebody's lying to themselves, they're going to be lying to somebody else. That also happens. But if you can resolve that issue that's reflecting for you, it's going to be easier for you to see it coming a mile away and take action on it before you get involved, which is something that Pisces energy doesn't always have an easy time with. You feel the connection, you go in even though your gut tells you otherwise, and it's not just in relationships, it's in every area of life. Once that emotional flow and connection is established and you're moving from that flowy space, it's not always easy to then go back and when your intuition is saying, hey, don't do this, okay? So I'm hoping that this month will give you some breakthroughs in really being proactive and not making the same mistakes and doing the inner work that it takes in order to solidify this for yourself. And because these nice, earthy, grounding, foundation-building planets are in a sweet aspect to Pisces, it's really serving this for you. Now, those of you towards the end of the sign are going to get like extra blessings from this, because these planets are making exact angles with your placements. The rest of you in the earlier and middle parts of the sign, you've already had these planets make those nice aspects for you. So hopefully by now you're reaping some of those rewards. All right, let's see what else is going on. Expect some surprise breakthroughs as it relates to the feminine parts of your being. Now, I am also speaking to you men. I know that 1/4 to 1/3 of those of you watching are the men folk. And when I speak about the divine feminine and the feminine parts, we all have male and female energies within us. So there's something very specific with this black moon Lilith. Okay, Lilith is a very complex placement, because I could write a whole book on this. There are 3 energies of Lilith. This is one, all right? But this very much has to do with the energy of repression. Repression bubbling out in ways that are practical and tangible and productive. I love this planet in this sign of Taurus, because Taurus is productivity. It's being rational, it's being productive, it's reaching outcomes, it's sustainable. And so the reason why I think these things will come all of a sudden, and this is going to be true, you can see early degree placements, you have this going on in the 2nd house. Middle degree, it's also in the 2nd house. And late degree, it's also in the 2nd house. Okay, so this is going to be the same for all of you. The planet Uranus brings surprises. It brings things all of a sudden, and it brings random breakthroughs. So the closeness of these planets speak to the possibility of things rising from the depths, All right, now that's what we always got to watch out for with Lilith, is sometimes the things that rise from the depths are not productive or, pretty. So what I see happening as a potential here is a rising up of repressed energy of the, let's say, the more receptive parts of our being. Okay, we don't have to call it feminine, we can call it our receptivity. So the breakthroughs that can come from the repression of this natural receptivity can be really astounding. And there's something very specific about this in the money house for Pisces this month. So I am really hoping that surprises that come having to do with finances, if they don't start out great from the beginning, which they totally could, that they could lead to something really great. When we're walking around with repressed energy, remember we talked about this with the subconscious energy, it's like the challenge of the repression is coming out through our experiences in life, and we think that it's all happening out there, but it's happening in here. And this is a sign of something that really could heal, like a clearing of karma, a very instantaneous clearing of karma. Okay, so just a recap of the month here. We've got a mixed bag of challenging and sweet aspects. Your perspective is going to be what can make the difference for this to teeter-totter over to the positive side. If you can be honest with yourself about the things that you're doing or not doing that really need to be rectified, and you can use this building, bubbling up energy to take action on the things that are interfering between you and the things that you want, it can be super productive. It can be amazing for finding resolutions for repressed issues that keep coming up in the form of unconscious reflections. And then we've got this eclipse. Okay, so this is the last thing that we're going to talk about. I promised you that we would talk about where this third eclipse was going to be. In the May report, I showed you where Pisces was going to have the first June eclipse. In the June report, I showed you where Pisces was going to have the second June eclipse, and now the third eclipse in the cycle. This is the last Capricorn Cancer eclipse in the whole cycle that we're going to have for very many years, okay? So it's a big wrap up of things that have been going on between now and the middle of 2018. So it's at 13 degrees of Capricorn. Now this, again, we talked about these Cap planets already. Cap planets are a nice aspect for Pisces. So we celebrate when things go on in Capricorn, for the most part, unless something else is conflicting in your chart, because it's like, it's a shoring up, it's a making more certain, it's a making more strong of anything that was sketchy or, called into question. 13 degrees for early degree placements is going to pretty much be in the 11th house, but you could see some of that whisper into the 10th house, especially as you move later into the early degree designation. We'll talk about some other implications of what this is. I just want to get everyone on the map. Okay, so middle degree placements, this is really on the line between the 11th and 10th, and it really depends on your exact degree to see exactly where it will be. Late degree placements, this is going to be in the 10th house for you. Okay, so as usual, the early degree placements have it in one place, the late degree placements have it in another place, the middle ones have it in either or both. And then early will have a whisper of where the late has it, and the late will have a whisper of where the early has it, okay? But that's how it goes. Now, I'm going to give you some snippets about what this means, but also make sure you search for the eclipse videos I'm going to refer to, because I have whole other videos on this, okay? So basically, the 11th house has to do with a wrapping up of things in your friendships, in your friendship circles, in your social media, in your online businesses, or in your, to groups, things like that. So something that has been going on, a storyline, comes to completion. And that could be as simple as you've been thinking about doing something online and now you're ready to take action, and so the part where you're thinking about doing it is over and now you're doing it. Or it could be any number of things, relationships with social media, certain friendships having a storyline. So early and middle, you've got that there. Now for early and middle, make sure you find my video called Eclipses in Aquarius or 11th house, all right? Because the Aquarius rules the 11th house, so it's the same thing. And you can find this by searching for Annie Botticelli Eclipses in 11th or Eclipses in Aquarius, or you can go to my homepage. If you just find my YouTube channel, Annie Botticelli YouTube, then At the bottom of the stream of all of the recent videos, there's an eclipse series, okay? So you'll want to watch this because that's going to show you a lot more of what I've seen happen with these eclipses. Now, the middle and late degree placements, possibly a whisper for the early, you've got this in the 10th house. So the ending of a storyline with something having to do with work or career. Now, do note that the eclipse itself is in Capricorn. So everyone in the zodiac has the 10th house aspected for this eclipse because of the sign. But middle and late degree Pisces, you have the sign and the house, which makes it like a double energy, a double emphasis for you. Things wrapping up with father figures, things wrapping up with work, career, you know, magical beginnings, crazy endings, possibly sudden, could be planned. Anything having to do with bosses leaving, different, you know, boss stories, things like that are going to be having this really great wrap up. So those of you in the middle and late, you'll want to find my eclipses in Cap or 10th house, and actually really early degree placements, right? Because the sign is there too. You'll want to check that out. Now, this particular eclipse, like I said, it's in friendly angle for all Pisces placements, but those of you in the 8 degree to 18 degree spectrum, so basically the end of the early degree placements and almost all of the middle degree placements. The closer you are to 13 degrees, so this is going to be about like March 2nd, 3rd, 4th, you know, those days there, the more impacted you're going to be, and the chance for more profound changes are more likely. For everyone in the spectrum, the closer you get to this 13 degree, the more intense. Really, really, truly life-changing. And even if there is something challenging that comes along with it, the odds that beautiful things are going to open up are really increased because the angle it makes to your placements. So if you would like to have more information about this month, I do written horoscopes. You can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. All the links that I'm giving you are also in the notes underneath the video when you click on the more arrow. You can see a ton of astrology blogs at anniehelpsyou.com. You can check out my school. I have been on a mission to make more of the courses in my school free than the paid ones, and I'm not quite there, but I'm almost there. I have 3 free courses at my school and some paid courses, including becoming a professional astrologer mastery course. If you love how I teach and you want to learn, then you will love my course. If you think I go into details in these short videos, wow, I really give you a lot to work with. So you can see my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. You can see all of my courses, including the growing list of free ones. And you can check out my books, Radical Prayer, and my new book that's available for pre-sale called Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe, where I give you so many tools to line your energies up with this natural sync so that things can be much more easy and flowing for you in your life. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.